Sending data. Sending data. Streaming. Now it's streaming on Facebook. But now it's streaming everywhere. Okay, we are live.
Third time's the charm.
All I did was copy and paste the same thing in.
It's so weird how that works.
Yep.
All right. Well, it is 8:27. You have 1 minute to grab a friend, grab a drink, and grab your friend a drink. But don't grab your friend's drink.
That's right.
We are gonna hop to it at 8:28.
We start hopping to it.
We're gonna.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Hop to it.
I don't know why I said hop to it.
It's all right. Hop to it. I'm gonna put that as my share.
Hop to it. Get it? Ha.
There you go. Talking.
So tonight we are drinking Peabody Heights, 20th anniversary or 12th anniversary edition of Able Hands.
Able.
In honor of our old neighborhood, Able. Waverly.
Charles Village, all right there.
Yeah, right
together.
there in Peabody Heights in Baltimore City.
It's good stuff. If you were able to log on tonight, then give us a chat. Let us know where you're viewing from tonight.
Let us know that it's working.
Let us know that we think it's working. Yeah, it is good to see you all, whoever is out there in the interwebs.
All of you in the interwebs.
That's right.
So, this is Talkin' Toast. Mm-hmm. We host this time every week to chat about the goings on in the world, about the process of creating our sermons. Mm-hmm. And really what we're doing is we're pulling back our creative process to include you in it, and to turn the sermon on Sunday into more of a conversation. So we hope that you will engage with us and answer questions and chime in when you feel it necessary and when you feel it unnecessary.
Yeah.
So we start every week by answering the same question, and that question is, what is sustaining you? What is sustaining you? What is that kind of flow that is underneath the surface carrying you through? What is the 808 beat? What is the thing that is getting you through?
That's right. What is the thing that is getting you through?
So
I think we should ask you this first.
No, you always ask me. I want to ask you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What is getting you through?
Well, also on Talking Toast, sometimes we devolve into sports talk.
Yeah.
And I've got two things. One, on Sunday, we went to our first gymnastics meet.
Yes.
And it was awesome.
It was
absolutely awesome. And it was so fun watching our daughter just get into it. And it was really neat. It was at George Washington, and it was Penn State. Penn State won. Clemson came in second, and then George Washington came in third. It was really, really neat, fascinating. I'd never experienced that before.
I didn't really know what to look at.
I didn't either.
So they have at gymnastics meets, and I'm sure this is like across the board, Olympics and everything. But at gymnastics meets, they have 3 or 4 things going on at one time.
Yeah.
Which was a lot.
It's hard to pay attention to all of it.
So
and the music's just going with the floor.
Goes only with the floor exercise. Yeah. But then there's cheers that erupt over there on the uneven bars, and cheers that erupt on the balance beam, and it was just a lot. I would be watching one thing, and then cheers would erupt, and then I'd turn, and I'd miss something over here.
Yeah.
And, but it was a lot of fun.
It was really neat. Yeah, I'm excited about seeing more. Sophie and I watched a little bit on television a few times, and it was nothing like being there in person.
No,
it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah. But Clemson has a gymnast who is the first collegiate gymnast to complete a Biles 2.
Biles 1.
Biles 1.
Yeah.
I think it was Biles 2. Okay. Whatever. But she's awesome, and we got to watch her. Bree Clark is her name.
Yeah.
And she was a rock star.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of fun. Hey, I just want to shout out Rachel Pennington is watching, and it is Rachel's birthday.
Happy
birthday, Rachel. I was going to text you after this, but here you are.
That's awesome.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Only cool people are born in March during March Madness. I just feel like you were born to love sports.
There you go.
I love that. That's
there
awesome.
You go.
And Joanne Spence is on here.
That's right.
My mom is on here. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I said two-parter, gymnastics, and then the other part is just basketball.
Yeah.
I am having so much fun. You talked about March Madness. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, watching
Yeah.
the tournaments. I'm going to watch some tonight, and then my Tigers play, the men Tigers play on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So, Thursday at 9:30.
We watched basketball every night last week.
We did. It was a
great.
lot of fun. It was a
great.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's sustaining you?
Well, if you talk to me for 2.5 minutes, I will probably talk to you about running. And the thing that is sustaining me is that I am getting ready for a race this weekend. I've got a half marathon plus 5K this weekend, and I'm really excited about it. So I had my last training run today before that. And all of this is to get ready for my marathon in May, but I'm feeling good. I was kind of feeling like I was hitting a slump in the last couple of weeks, but I think this race is coming along at a good time to kind of help me get excited about it again. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be in DC. It's the rock and roll half marathon. So I've never done a rock and roll race. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Lots of music, and there's a 90s cover band and all kinds of fun stuff. So it'll be fun. And my mom mentioned that Lily was able to walk to school today. That was a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
she
good.
did really well with that.
And Deanna says hi. Deanna messaged me today and wanted to say that we are thinking about all of you at Greystone. That's an exciting opportunity for Chrissy.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about all of you. It's always one of those bittersweet moments, and
sure.
whenever there's a transition like that, because you want to be excited for new things to come, and you'll have new things to come too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's real. It hurts.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Absolutely. So, today we are gonna jump right into this season. The season of Lent. We kind of introduced it last week.
Yeah.
We did Talking Toast the night before. We did the night before. Whatchamacallit, Ash Wednesday.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun, talking and leading into what Lent is, and this season of reflection. Anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a season of intentional identity formation. So it's a time to reflect on obligations that you've taken on, and I think this can transcend religion. In life itself, there are times to reflect, and times to reevaluate. And it just so happens that this comes in the spring when seeds are reevaluating whether they're going to pop up.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, all right, I'm a seed. I was made to be a seed. I need to blossom. Mm-hmm. And so it's in this time that Lent falls as a season of intentional reflection on who we are, what our sense of identity is, what our sense of calling or purpose in the world might be, and how to engage with the world in a way that's true to who we are.
Yeah.
So it's, Lent gets a bad rep as like this time of like denying ourselves and all of that, but I think it, more than anything, at the core of it is, it's a time to reflect on who we are.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just wanted to say Jim says hi from Glen Burnie. Hello, Jim. Thanks for the kind words about Clemson. That's my alma mater. It's a great place. Deanna is asking some questions about where Chrissy is going, and they are UCC, I believe, is the church that she's headed to.
And it's so they're we're in our denomination is in partnership with UCC with sharing clergy. But we're not quite the same.
Yeah.
We celebrate communion every week and they don't. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah. So in this time of Lent, in this time of reflection, we each are going to preach a sermon from two biblical texts. The first person is going to start off with an Old Testament scripture, and the second person is going to preach from the New Testament, whatever that gospel lesson is. And Joanne Spence, my psalm text reminds me of you a little bit. There's something in calming and speaking and breathing in this text that's kind of a Joanne Spence kind of thing.
And for all of our people who are watching Talkin' Toast, I want y'all to go and find Joanne Spence because she's doing some breathing and intentional breath work on Facebook Live on Tuesday nights. And I think it's just right before Talkin' Toast. So go find it. It's there, and she's just a wealth of resources for that kind of stuff.
She's a treasure.
Yep.
So this psalm text that I'm preaching from is Psalm 27, and for me, there's this. You may have heard some of this before, where it says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation; whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life." This psalmist is saying over and over again, "God is this. I really trust. I really believe. All these different kinds of things." And then you get to this one part that really, I think, makes it a little more real. And it says, "Do not turn your servant away in anger. You who have been my help, do not cast me off. Do not forsake me." There's also another part that's like, "Answer me when I cry out to you." And for me, there's this sense, and Lindsay Armstrong is a minister who says, real fear lives alongside honest faith. And I think about that. We hold the doubts and the faith and the fear and all those things together. And I think about this psalm, and I think about my inability to trust right now. Just in
anything.
Yeah, just there's an inability to trust, and trust is difficult to extend sometimes. And the psalmist is open and honest in saying, "Yeah, and this goes beyond humans." Right? Like it's difficult to trust in higher powers. It's difficult to trust
when everything feels like it's going wrong.
Exactly. So there's something in this text about speaking it aloud and the helpfulness of speaking it aloud. So I was thinking, hey, Judy Calvert, I was thinking about playing a song.
Yep.
If that's okay. Just a little bit of a song. I don't have to play all of it. But I wrote this song in 2020. At the end of 2020, going into 2021.
No, I think you wrote it right around this time, babe. You wrote it right at the beginning of COVID, of the lockdown.
Well, I made the video in 2021.
Okay.
And then this one is, so I think it was right around the end of 2020. But I'm going to sing just a little bit of it, and let me know what you think. But here's the chorus. I'll do the chorus in verse 1, and then the chorus again. There's a fear, it keeps ringing in my ears, telling me there's heartbreak just around the way. There's a choice, and if I find a little voice I can sing it loud to keep the fear at bay. 'Cause I remember times like these before, when I was lying on the floor, wishing it all away. And I remember that I reached the other side, so when the loneliness subsides, there'll be a bright new day. There's a fear that keeps on ringing in my ears, telling me there's heartbreak just around the way. There's a choice, but if I find a little voice, I can sing it loud to keep the fear at bay. So that was 2 of the verses.
Man, you need to keep going.
Well, no, I think it's good. Okay. I really appreciate it. I might play that on Sunday. I don't know. Yes. But there's this part with that song of recognizing that there is the fear and needing to recognize it and needing to speak it out loud, and to say this is speaking it out loud, recognizing it, is a part of is a part of getting through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Giving voice to the fear brings it out into the open. Yeah.
And I think that's what the psalmist is doing.
And it makes it a little less lonely. So that somebody can say, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if I think we're getting some good feedback.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need to do that song on Sunday.
I told you. I'll
do it. I'll do the whole song on Sunday. Yeah, there's a fear. There's a fear.
That takes me back to COVID. But seriously, your second verse, it goes, I'll give you the space to be mad. I think that was written for me. Because I remember standing in our kitchen saying, I just want to be mad. I've got to get out of here. I don't want to get it from a bag of chips. But that's an SNL reference. But I want to just name this for folks that it's March 11th right now?
Yeah.
Today's the day, 5 years ago, that COVID was officially named a pandemic. March 13th was the day that the federal emergency was declared, and a lot of folks started closing up businesses and whatnot.
Yeah. March 15th was the Sunday.
March 15th was the Sunday. Yeah. That was the first Sunday that we were virtual. And, I think there's something that our bodies remember about this trauma. And so I'm glad you kind of named that fear. Wow. And that's, with the things happening right now, with uncertainty in the government and with 2 potential infectious diseases spreading, measles and the bird flu. There's a fear. There's a fear. There's a fear. Yeah. So thank you. That's really good. There is something about speaking that fear out loud.
Yeah. And I also think I'm interested to see how this plays with the Luke text in this.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're thinking about.
So I don't think I've ever taken this approach to this text.
Ooh.
So I love, this is one of my favorite texts in the entire Bible. This is the story of Jesus standing over Jerusalem and saying, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills prophets. He's grieving for Jerusalem. And he says, oh, how I long to gather you like a mother hen gathers her chicks. So first of all, you've got a feminine image of the divine, which, I love it. But you have this grief that is a result of a deep, deep love and a deep, deep disappointment.
Yeah.
That I don't think I've ever really recognized.
I don't think I've ever thought about the disappointment in that either.
Yeah, and so you think about Jesus, who went to Jerusalem often. His religious life, he was a faithful Jewish man. His religious life revolved around Jerusalem, and he was in love with it. I mean, it was the place where his parents took him as a child. It was, it is this central location, and he had a deep love for it. And I think the amount of grief that he had for it would not have been possible without that deep love. And yet, there was this deep disappointment that he held as well. That it was a city that, literally has peace in the name. Jerusalem. Jerusalem means the city of peace. And yet, it's the city where multiple prophets had been killed. Prophets, some that are biblical prophets, some that are extra biblical, extra canonical, outside of the biblical text. So much so that when the Quran was compiled, there are multiple references in the Quran to the fact that Jerusalem was the place that killed prophets.
Yeah.
And so there's this deep, there's this kind of tension going on, right? With this deep love and appreciation and this disappointment and frustration, really. That I think that I would be willing to bet that a lot of people know that tension right now.
Yeah.
That love for place or space combined with not again.
Yeah,
frustration. Some kind of frustration,
yeah.
some kind of disappointment.
Yeah.
So I really want to kind of lean into that and lean into holding those two things together, that love and disappointment can be held in tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There are some people who compare human beings, like the divine love for humans, to Jesus's love for Jerusalem, which I think is fine. I think it's great, but I think the very true human instinct of holding disappointment with love, I think is more compelling to me.
Yeah. A lot of folks have been chiming in with some COVID remembrances with 4 years. And then one of my former students, hey, Bradley, I really appreciate your kind words there.
Yeah. Miss Hahn, COVID times remind me of pre-K and masks and Sweet Sophie being excited about wearing new masks with different designs.
Yeah.
I still have some of my masks to remember such crazy times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think back to that.
Miss Hahn is on.
All of that. There was the fear, there was the love for humanity, and the love for and part of trying to be careful was out of love.
But then
right?
there was this deep frustration with the anti-masking and all
people
that
who
happened.
didn't take it seriously and that kind of thing. Yeah. Very interesting times. Yeah, and the body remembers.
The body remembers.
Yeah.
I heard you playing that song, and I immediately went back there, and I was curious if you were going back there because of the time or what. But
no, it just...
maybe your body just knew.
My body just knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been anxious today.
Yeah.
And I just kind of think about,
there's
something... Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah.
And I talked to the days leading up to whenever everything was locked down, I was with friends that I talked to today.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, I still have my Clark Griswold National Lampoon Christmas Vacation mask to this day. Yeah. That's awesome. There you go.
That's awesome.
I hope it says, I'm trying to think of which one. There's so many great quotes in that movie.
Clark?
You serious, Clark? There's all the RV quotes. And then anyway, that's good stuff. Clark W. Griswold.
Well,
they're not twinkling, Clark. Yeah.
Well, friends, we've done some talking. It's time to do some toasting. And we might invite our guest toaster up to. Do you want to come toast with us?
I think she's occupied. She's
Okay.
good.
So, friends, go from here, wherever you are, to wherever you're going. And remember that deep, deep disappointment can coexist with deep love. We don't have to untangle the two.
Yeah. And the words from Lindsay Armstrong, real fear lives alongside honest faith. That fear and that faith, those things can go alongside each other too. Our questions matter, and and our flourishing matters.
Our flourishing matters. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Cheers,
so.
friends.
Maybe the through line here is you're talking about kind of faith and fear, and how we've been sold an untangled faith and fear, right?
Yeah.
And I think in a similar way, we've been sold an untangled love and frustration.
Yeah.
And so maybe the through line is kind of untangling or being okay with the tangles.
The entanglement.
Learning to live with entanglement.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, friends, thank you so much for chiming in tonight. We've got so many great comments, and it's good to see new folks chiming in. And yeah, thank you all. It's
And I
been
think
fun.
I think this is proof that we need to do some more thinking around annual remembrances of COVID.
Yeah.
And just honoring that the body remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The body remembers. Well, friends, thank you so much. And
Cheers, friends.
We hope to see you next week. And if not next week, sometime soon. If you're watching this later on, please go back and comment. Let us know kind of what this drew out in you. And let us know how we can celebrate what's sustaining you as well.
Heck yeah.
I love that Joanne was the one that said, yes, that resonates. The body remembers.
The body remembers.
Joanne's the one who
taught that.